You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. Our pleasure. Be joined by maybe a couple of guys who've ridden tractors in their days. I don't know. West Weeks, Whit Weeks in studio with us. Courtesy of our friends over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gents, how are you?
Good. Great.
Are we tractor people?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, I did see y'all did the whole gator hunt with our friends at Sunshine.
Right.
How did that go?
That was awesome.
Man.
That was awesome. That was really the first time. I mean, being from Georgia, we got gators in South Georgia, but that was the first time I've ever really seen alligators like that. And I mean, they were massive. They're a lot bigger than I thought they'd be.
Yeah, you don't really realize how big they are until you're right up on them. You're like, oh, dang, this thing's huge.
Y'all were going like Bo Jackson bad over the shoulder pose with some of those dogs. Like, how big were those? How much did they weigh?
I think the ones that we put over our shoulders was probably about what, like 100 pounds,
Yeah,
120 pounds?
those weren't the huge ones, but they were still pretty big.
That was incredible, man. Very cool. But we got some great partners, obviously, with Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana, but also Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Guys are part of the G team. Gordon and his staff been great to us. Let us have these opportunities to chat with members of the G team. So glad to have the Weeks boys in. And I don't know, we do this again next year, guys. We'll have a third.
I know, we're going to have
a third chair.
Right.
We're going to have to get another one in here.
Let's talk about how this all goes down, right? So Tuesday or Monday, Zach Weeks, the third. Are there any more?
We got a little sister.
There's a little sister.
She's in middle school.
Okay, got it. So she's not going to play football at LSU. Maybe cheerleader? We'll see somewhere
maybe,
down the line.
maybe. Basketball player.
Did y'all know that, like, all along this was the plan? Wes, let me ask you, did you know all along this was the plan for Zach? Like, he was trying to reclassify and get into the 25 class?
Yeah, no, really from the start, no, because I was going into this season thinking it was going to be my last year. I mean, I didn't really have any intentions of coming back. And then, with the injuries and all and getting the opportunity to redshirt, I was like, oh, wow, if I come back for another year, there's a chance that maybe I could play with my other little brother. And so once he told me that he was thinking about that and that I was coming back for another year, I was like, oh, wow, this could be reality. And it just turned out to work out that way.
So when did you all as a family start talking about that possibility?
I think we started talking about it probably a week after I had decided to redshirt.
And when was that?
It was about, I think, somewhere near the UCLA game.
Okay.
Yeah, during that time.
Yeah. So what was what you had a leg, foot injury, something like that?
Yeah, high ankle sprain.
So you had the high ankle sprain.
Yep.
So you ended up coming back to play this past week against Vanderbilt. So that was your fourth game.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw you out there on the field. I'm like, that's number 4. Like, if he's trying to redshirt, he can't go. So the plan is like you wouldn't play against Oklahoma.
Yeah,
this
the
week.
plan was either to play last week against Vanderbilt or this week against Oklahoma, and it just happened to be that I was needed against Vanderbilt, so that's why I got to go in.
So, Whit, who's of the three of you at the point where Zach is right now, right? So, junior in high school, he's listed at 6'2", 220. Who's the best at that point?
The best? Ooh.
At that point. I'm not saying to, like, obviously he's, 16, 17.
I mean, he's about to come to college, so, I mean, that might give him a little boost. I mean, when I was a junior in high school, I was still getting ready to play high school football. Now he's about to get ready to play college football.
Do y'all, like, what were – like, I have a brother, when we're close in age, we're like 16 months apart. A lot of people mistook us for twins a lot when we were younger. But dude, we fought like hell.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it like with the three of you all growing up together? Was it competitive? Was it love? What was it like?
Oh, it was competitive, and we fought probably every single day.
Yeah.
Like every single day.
Multiple times a day, beating on each other, doing whatever we could, sneak in a few punches while Mom wasn't looking.
Dude, my mom would get so terrified, too. She grew up like she has one older brother, but then 3 sisters. And so it was like she wasn't used to boys, like rough and tumble, like fighting, right? How did your mom handle that?
I have no idea, because usually it was him beating up on me and Zach, and then me beating up on Zach. But what she would do, she used to just, I remember if we would get into a big fight right before our dad got home from work, she would send us into his closet, and we'd just have to sit there scared for him when he was about to get home from work, and he'd get home from work, and he would just tear into you.
Oh, man, it's so relatable, I think, for so many. It's fascinating, too, because you mentioned your dad. Your dad played at Georgia, right? He played with Kirby and Muschamp, right? I mean, he was Mike Bobo, like he was on those teams. So how in the world do you get away from from the Silver Britches, man. How do you get away from hunker down your hairy dogs? Y'all grew up Georgia fans, I would guess, yeah?
Big Georgia fans.
No doubt. So, like, Wes, I mean, you went to Virginia and then ended up at LSU. How did that happen?
Yeah, really. So I was the COVID class coming out of high school, so I didn't get to really visit as many places as I want to coming out of high school. So it was really more for me, the relationships coming out of high school. And I had a really good relationship with Coach Pop and Coach Hunter and Coach Bronco Mendenhall up at Virginia. So ultimately, that's kind of what led me to that decision. And then when they, after my freshman season, they stepped away from the program, I was like, all right, I can either restart here at Virginia with a new coach, or after having a good season up there, I can go somewhere else, have an opportunity, and then ultimately came down here to Baton Rouge and just fell in love with it.
What was it? Do you remember when you came on your visit?
It was January of that, I think 22 was when I came. And originally I wasn't even planning on coming down here because I was pretty dead set on going to South Carolina. So I'm like,
oh, no way.
All right, yeah, I'm just trying to get there, get enrolled, and then get rolling there. But they convinced me to take a visit out here, and I really just fell in love with it.
Yeah, and then for you, so West comes down and plays that 22 season, right? Which was Brian Kelly's first. So when did you first make a visit here?
So the first time I came was probably a couple months after he got down here, April or March sometime, and I took a visit down here, and I mean, immediately I was like, one, he was already here, and two, I came down and liked it. So right then I knew I was probably going to come here. Like every factor was swinging for me to come to LSU.
What was it? Like, do you remember either of you guys, like, because I'd imagine, it's funny, we talk recruiting sometimes, and everyone's like, oh, this person had a great official visit. Well, like, of course you did.
Yeah.
Like, who has ever had a bad, I mean, did either of you have a bad OV?
No,
like,
I don't think so.
I mean, they roll out the red carpet, you're eating good meals, it's just first class, everything all the way. So what was it about the LSU visit that really made you kind of fall in love with it?
I remember,
you're like a pro too. You realize a cough cup right there? I tell you what.
I remember the first time I came down here, like the first memory I have of getting in Baton Rouge was one, seeing the stadium from the airplane. Like I opened the window and I was like, holy cow, that thing is massive. And then coming down Nicholson, looking up at Tiger Stadium, I was like, holy smokes, like it's huge. Like it just stands up really over the Delta, like they say. I mean, and that was really my first memory here. I'm like, holy cow, how cool would it be to play in there?
Yeah. What about you, West?
My first memory was going and eating at Chimes, and I just remember how good that was. I was like, man, if I could eat like this all the time, I got to come down here.
A little harder to keep the weight down, though.
Yeah,
you'll learn that,
exactly.
especially as you get older, the metabolism slows. You're not wearing 20 pounds of pads, in 120-degree weather out there in fall camp all the time. West Weeks and Whit Weeks are with us here. Courtesy of our friends over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. During your time at LSU, you've also obviously had the opportunity to do some really fun NIL deals. What was it about the opportunity with Gordon that was kind of appealing? Wes, I'll start with you.
Really just being able to grow your brand with him. I mean, he's a very influential person in this community. And I feel like just being able to associate yourself with him is something that really can help you grow your personal brand.
Yeah, Whit, you like the Gordon jingle?
Yeah.
You like the Flaugier one? I like the Flaugier.
I don't know if I've heard
you
that
haven't heard that one?
Uh-uh.
Oh, so Flaugier did a rap to the Gordon jingle last year on the Super Bowl. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
All right, I'll have to listen to that one. But really, what I remember last year we did a deal with him, and one of the main factors was his bike giveaway. So I kind of was like, all right, like, he's giving back to the community, and we were able to show up for that, kind of promote it a little bit. So I like giving back to the community in that way.
Yeah, man. You can go to GordonGives.com, by the way, for that bike giveaway. GordonGives.com. Gordon's giving away 488 bicycles to children around the state of Louisiana, something he does every year around the holidays. Very, very cool giveaway. Gordon's always said he wants to give back to the communities that gave him so much. So if you're interested or want to try to win one of those bicycles for a kiddo around the state of Louisiana, go to GordonGives.com and you can fill out the form right there on the homepage. I want to talk a little bit about the future in our next segment. Let's talk a little bit about this year. It's so interesting, I think, anytime you go through a coordinator change, right? Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, for us, for fans and media, we're not in meeting rooms, we're not at practice. So, I think we think about a coordinator change and, any type of turnover there would be some type of a challenge to catch up in terminology or expectation. What's that been like for you guys, especially with Blake Baker coming in as your position coach as well? Whit, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, as far as learning the defense, he got here in January, and right away we got into it. I mean, we were meeting, learning his defense, learning his terminology, his stuff. So you start in January and you just learn the defense up until summer ball. Then you start over in summer ball, go through all your installs again. And then in fall camp again, you restart, go through every install. So you really get to learn it 3 times before you even step on the field for a game. But ultimately, him as a dude coming in here, I feel like he really rejuvenated the defense with his passion and his love and joy that he comes in with every day. So I couldn't be more happy for him to be my coach.
There was a play I remember in fall camp. Y'all were doing an 11-on-11.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
what am I going
What you're talking about. When he was overthrown ball and he caught it on the sideline and he started going crazy.
How did you know that's what I was going to say? And he had to drop down and do push-ups too, or something like that.
Yeah, that was like the next play he dropped it.
Yeah,
he could have had 2 back-to-back plays.
Like what? So like. Give me a little bit more on that though, because you can notice, and again, like we would go out there during camp and we get to see 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, and there's some things you do this long enough and you observe from a distance, like you could tell certain things, right? And it was just it's very clear with him. It's a different energy thing.
Definitely.
So like, Wes? What is the difference? Like how has that made a difference for y'all this year?
Well, I think the biggest difference with him, like, it's all genuine. Like, that's really him as a person. Like, there's no fake energy. He's not faking anything. That's really how he is 24/7. He's always on go like that. He knows when to have fun. He knows when you need to lock in. So I feel like that is one of his best traits for sure as a coach.
How much better? Look, last year was a challenge. We know that defensively. But in this year, it's clear there's been a lot of progress, still a ways to go. I think everybody would agree to that. But where do you all think, from your perspectives, that as a defense you all have improved most from where you were a year ago to where you are now 11 games under Blake Baker?
Yeah, I feel like really it's just us coming together and really just believing it and buying all into it. Like, we know that if we have a good week of practice, good week of locking in on our preparation, that we're going to go out there on a Saturday and put our best foot out.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, really this year, like, our whole defense has come together like this, like 11 dudes playing for each other. So really just exactly what he said.
How, one other thing that was certainly challenging is, like, Jacobian Guillory, who was in here with us last week, was supposed to be the veteran defensive tackle. And Harold was the preseason SEC defensive player of the year. And you lose both of those guys, 2 and 3 games into the season. Like, how much, I mean, obviously you lose great players like that, it's going to make a difference, but like, how much of a difference has that made for y'all defensively? Like, what would it be like if you had those 2 guys?
And I wish we still did have those 2 guys for sure. But I mean, playing a sport that's as violent as football is, that it's a next man up mentality, and like you can't let one injury ruin your whole season. I mean, as much as we'd love to have those guys out there, you can't go into the tank because they're not out there.
Yeah, we know Tank. We know Jacobian Guillory's coming back next year.
I know, thank goodness.
Y'all have a feeling on Harold? What he's going to do? Y'all ever talk?
Shoot, I'm not sure, but whatever decision he makes, he knows that we're all behind him.
Yeah, support him 100%.
He'll. It's so interesting because it was like it was a foregone conclusion. I mean, everyone just knew he was going to go be a first-round pick.
Right.
He has the unfortunate injury. Like, it sounds like there might be a chance that Perk comes back. If that happens, man.
Oh, I know. We're hoping he comes back. We're hoping he comes back.
We got Whit Weeks and West Weeks in studio. Next year when they're here, Zach will be in studio as well. We'll just have, like someone joked and said, one more and we'd have a month.
Yeah, right.
We'd have the month. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.